boy Bleeds. Everybody listen up. Let's get it. I'm trying to put money in your pocket. That crypto wallet. That bing bada bing ching ching big profit. Even when the market's sideways, I'm looking for ways to get paid. I'm checking my coins around breakfast, then again around bedtime. Bet this, it's not financial advice, but I'm always right. 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 Party, I'm a real go-getter. Rock a fur coat, but it's not chinchilla. Who's that dude with the master plan? It's Mr. Pinecone with the mic in my hand. I ball on a budget, got a bag full of nuggets. Living life to the fullest before I'm kicking the bucket. No time for the haters, I'm the meat and potatoes. I'm the product of Anunnaki and godly invaders. You wanna go down the rabbit hole? Well, come along with me. Let me phone home. Let me take you on the trip to the Pleiades or the Seven Seas. We can sail them all. Bring your dungarees and your toothbrush, your knapsack. We'll have a nightcap, then I'll bring you back. Mr. Pinecone's come a long, long way, so everybody get sideways. Sing it. I can't wait till Friday. Everybody's getting sideways. Pass the bottle back my way. Everybody's getting sideways.
What is going on, everybody? My name is Bleaves. Welcome to Breakfast with Bleaves, where we are going to take a deep dive. There's been a whole bunch of news over the last little while. I'm going to point out a few things that I found online. We're going to go a little bit crazy at times. We're going to pick through this debris that is the crypto sphere right now, and we're going to see among that rubble what it is that's left, and can we make any money off of it? And the answer to that is a resounding and alarming yeah, we can. But if you haven't already, hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe, and let's help get this video out to as many people as possible, so that we can get the news out to as many people who need to know. Because crypto, not really on a need to know basis, but there is a lot of news to cover. And with that, let us pop right in to the news. All right, step one, the most important part right here is we need to know what's going on the pre-markets so that we have an idea of what is happening here. And on the pre-markets, you can see the Dow futures are down 55, S&P down 12.5, NASDAQ down about 70 points. And we don't know how the market is going to react to all of the news, but it shouldn't be too bad because the overnight markets across the world have not been very bad. We haven't opened up to much negativity. We opened up to a little bit, like 0.73 down on the Shanghai index, but that was the only one that was really deeply in the negative, and 0.7 is not really that deep. It's not even 1%. So, maybe everything is fine. Everything else looked pretty good so far. So we'll see how the American market reacts. A down 56 number on the Dow doesn't really mean that much. I don't think that's just a short little number there. But let's look for anybody who hasn't seen it so far. Here's what we need to look at. We need to look at the face of poverty. And what does the face of poverty look like? To remember the days when they had money. It looks like Tom Brady and Gisele Bündchen put a majority of their $650 million fortune into FTX, and they are what the French call screwed, because not only did they put most of their investment in there, but over the weekend at SBF's Nerd Fuckboy Palace in the Bahamas, all of the engineers fled for Hong Kong, allegedly. SBF allegedly tried to go to Argentina, but was blocked, apparently, by the Bahamian Royal Police. because he is under investigation. But it also looks like and would appear that him and Nerd Chick, or I don't even know her name, but they were trying to siphon money. Kraken discovered it, traced it all the way back. They knew exactly who it was because whoever did it was an idiot. And I feel like I have an interview of the idiot that's been circulating on the internet lately. But it turns out that they were trying to siphon off funds and absolutely wreck everybody in the process. It's just absolutely crazy and bonkers. They literally thought that somehow your money was their money, and that's crazy to me. But that's what we're doing. So Sam Bankman-Fried, if you're ever watching this, you nerd, kiss everybody's ass. How about that? But let's get on to the news right now. Crypto.com, by the way, came under fire over the weekend because on October 21st, it accidentally sent 400 or 300 Ethereum, or 300,000 Ethereum to 320,000 Ethereum to Gate.io instead of its own cold storage wallet. And it was a human error. And Chris Marsalik, the CEO, came out and told everybody what had happened on October 21st. And then it looked like on the way back in, they had asked Gate.io, hey, we screwed up. We sent it to the wrong place. Would you get it back? Would you give us our money back? And of course, they were like, yeah, sure. But it looks like in the process, the cost of the transactions were maybe so expensive that they only got 285,000 of their Ethereum back. So of course, people were wondering, is Crypto.com insolvent? Now, Crypto.com went to proof of reserve and started using they started using the process in their proof of reserve of proving to everybody, because we did see, by the way, Binance has a balance sheet of $70 billion, which was impressive, right? Crypto.com has a balance sheet of about $3 billion. But when you look at the volume of business, there is a different sort of level to Crypto.com versus Binance or Binance.us. So Crypto.com has a $3 billion balance sheet. And here was the interesting part. Whereas FTX had a balance sheet of about $16 billion, 14 billion of those dollars was based on FTT token on its own and had nothing to do with actual currencies or cryptocurrencies, that is, that had an actual value of any sort. So the value proposition was completely off with FTX. But when you look at Crypto.com, Crypto.com keeps most of its money. It kept a very small amount of Crow. It did keep 20% of its reserve in Shiba Inu, but it kept most of it in either Bitcoin or stable token, so that you were able to cash your money out. So there is no liquidity crunch. There is no liquidity crisis at Crypto.com. The CEO came out a few hours ago, and not only did he have a nice little message for everybody, but he really kind of showed everybody that there's really nothing to worry about on Crypto.com. Now, when they go to that kind of effort to show and prove to you that there's nothing wrong, there's usually something wrong. So we're going to see what happens and how this plays out over the next couple of days. We don't have any reason to doubt him because we haven't seen him do anything, but we did see that move, and that is a gigantic error. If that guy had sent me 300,000 Ethereum accidentally by typing in the wrong address or doing something wrong, you can bet your ass he's not getting it back. I'll be like, look, I need 20,000 ETH as a reward for finding your money in my wallet. You know what I'm saying? Like, it would cost, like, give me a break, man. That's just out of control. But moving on. Shiba Inu, the FTX hacker swaps 400 billion SHIB for Ethereum. The FTX situation keeps getting worse. According to PeckShield, an address labeled FTX account drainer swapped 400 billion Shiba Inu tokens for worth 3.9 million for 2,346 Ethereum. The Ethereum is valued at 2.9 million, meaning that the address incurred a loss of about $1 million. Look, these nerds are not even good nerds. These nerds are just like this is not Revenge of the Nerds. This is like a whole bunch of nerds who think like ogre. You know what I'm talking about? If you're old enough, you know what I'm talking about. It's just absolutely crazy. According to Etherscan, the 400 billion Shiba Inu tokens were swapped on the COW protocol on November 12, a few hours after the FTX hack. The hack resulted in about 593 billion Shiba tokens valued at more than 5.7 million being taken. However, a total of nearly 600 million was stolen in the attack. The attacker is yet to be identified. However, they do know who it is over on Kraken. So we'll keep you up to date when we have more information on that one. Now, next question. Is the Bitcoin mining industry on the verge of collapsing? The amount of computing power sold fell by 48.5% to 3.5 million terahashes per second, which means that we are starting to see a serious drop-off in mining because it's maybe no longer profitable. The negative market dynamics have significantly hindered Bitcoin miners' revenue and cash flows. As miners are forced to cut their demand for computing power, we had to adjust down our selling price in response. Now, when you're trading down here at 16,976, there's probably just no money based on the amount of power, the amount of the amount of everything that you have to use in order to generate mining Bitcoin is no longer worth it. And there are a lot of, and you know what? I have to think that in some way, that mining facility in Texas that uses, I think, about 20% renewable might be able to work on a profit, because that's a fairly less expensive margin, maybe, and because of the way that it's doing its power structure and power grid, it's also selling energy to Texas because Texas doesn't have enough energy. So it's entirely possible that that's one of the only profitable places on the planet to mine Bitcoin. So we'll see what happens over the next little while. But if this slows it down, then the next halving is going to be pushed out for a little while. So that's going to screw a whole lot of things up. But moving on. Elon Musk just this weekend, a little while ago, said that Bitcoin is going to be fine, right? So Bitcoin started the week trading below 17,000. Since FTX's bankruptcy, the market has struggled to attempt to find support. Bitcoin fell below 15,872 before rallying to 16,864. In a response to a tweet from Jason Calacanis, Musk tweeted, "Bitcoin will make it, but might be a long winter." Now, since then, of course, the price of everything has started to rally, and we're starting to see a move back upwards. But if you follow my video on, I believe it was Friday or Saturday, if it was Saturday, if you follow my video on Saturday, I said that based on the way that it's playing out, it looked like it was ready for a breakout. But then I did a Terra video, and when I was looking at the Terra video, I said, well, Terra looks like it's ready to break to the downside. Now, if the market is moving together, then what we were just seeing was probably a fake pump in the middle of whatever was going on. So that made it look like it was a bear pennant, but it was really a bull pennant, but it was really a bear pennant just coming from that upside. So it probably was just consolidating before the next move to the downside. And I just missed it because there was such a big green candle, like right in the middle of all of it, as we had that dip down and then big run up when FTX was first announced. So, oops. Now, Terra Luna Classic price prediction as Luna Classic falls 30% in 7 days. How low can it go? Luna Classic's chart shows a coin in the midst of a decline with its relative strength index plunging below 30, meaning it's close to being oversold. Likewise, its 30-day moving average is falling further below its 200-day average. Normally, the indicator declines as such would signal the approach of an eventual turnaround and recovery. However, with the market still likely to see the after effects of the FTX collapse, there remains every chance that Luna Classic may continue slipping for a while yet. And that is actually, for the purpose of Luna Classic, that's actually a great thing. And the reason that it's a great thing, you don't want to see the price of any token, of course, decline, except that would allow it to burn far more tokens than what it was burning before. So I have a feeling that this is going to be, I think we're going to be just fine. I think we're I don't think that we're going to have an issue or a concern with what's going on there. I think that Binance has about 16 days, I think it is. Within 16 days, that's when we'll start to see Binance do its big monthly burn, since it's now doing a burn on a monthly basis. And with that being said, the most likely and most probable sort of outcome for that right now would be that so we burned 13 billion tokens right now. Looks like maybe that would burn almost the same amount. So in a month, after 6 weeks of burns, we got 13 billion tokens. And if we get a dip, and we get a good enough dip, then we could have over 13 billion tokens being burned by Binance when they make that buy. And that's what it looks like so far. So that's a good opportunity to burn a little bit more. Now, at the end of it, it doesn't really matter too much, right? It's not going to matter too much because those burns are minimal, but it will continue to provide momentum. And I think you'll see that this guy probably wrong. There's probably a little bit more momentum. Now, we get into the final part of the news before we move on, and that is CZ Binance the devil? Now, listen. If I were doing what, if I were crushing FTX, if I were crushing crypto.com, if I were the number one chain and I decided I was going to buy number two, and then I decided I'm not going to buy number two, and on and on. If I were doing all of these things, then what kind of tweet would I put out? It looks something like this. To reduce further cascading negative effects of FTX, Binance is forming an industry recovery fund to help projects who are otherwise strong but in a liquidity crisis. More details to come soon. In the meantime, please contact Binance Labs if you think you qualify. By the way, if you're following Luna Classic does not qualify for that because of the status as the Terra Rebels. Also, welcome other industry players with cash who want to co-invest. Crypto is not going away. We are still here. Let's rebuild. And CZ Binance wants to be at the center of that rebuilding. Now, remember, it was CZ Binance dumping 500 million FTX tokens, the FTTs, on the open market several days ago that started the eventual collapse of FTX. Now, what did we find out about FTX after the fact? We found out that FTX was the devil. But let's move on to this one. Full disclosure. Binance never shorted FTT. Now, why did that have to come up? Well, that had to come up because all of a sudden CZ Binance is dunking on FTT, dropping the price. So, did they short it? Well, he doesn't have to short it. What he has to do is get rid of competitors. So it's entirely possible they didn't short it because it's a different type of greed. We still have a bag of, as we stopped selling FTT after SBF called me, very expensive call. But the point here was that he was selling, and that's exactly what he's telling you, is that he was selling these tokens on the open market. Now, remember, there were people who offered him CZ Binance. And guys, you've got to pay attention to me here. CZ Binance, the guy who's not able to burn Luna Classic tokens because he does off-chain transactions and not on-chain transaction, refuses off-chain transactions to FTT because he says that's not healthy. Let me say that one more time. The CZ Binance from Binance, who trades Luna Classic off-chain, thus doesn't want to burn or implement the 1.2% burn that was going to be implemented. That same guy who said he can't do it because it's off-chain says this transaction, wink, wink, has to be on-chain. I want you to think about that, okay? And I'm not saying that he did anything wrong. I mean, you could do what do what you want. You guys are a bunch of CEOs, and this is a billion dollar boys club. Anyway, but I'm telling you right now, CZ Binance is the same sort of scumbag that every other one of these guys are. He just happens to have more money than they do. Now, God damn it, man. I swear to God, this is how dumb it gets sometimes. Okay, this is how dumb it gets sometimes. This is just bonkers. A true scandal is opening for the Biden administration. I shit you not. These thirst trap red wave people who just took a big L because nobody likes Donald Trump. This is the conspiracy. This is their next conspiracy. 13 Biden announces his presidential campaign. 13 days later, Sam Bankman-Fried, son of Barbara Fried, Stanford professor and co-founder of political fundraising organization Mind the Gap, launches FTX crypto exchange. Oh my God. That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. The exchange is magically an overnight success. Jesus fucking Christ. Yeah. This is how desperate these little thirst trapping ass red wave people are. The exchange is magically an overnight success. SBF becomes biggest donor to Biden. Not true at all, but he is a political donor, by the way, and he does favor Democrats because for some reason Sam Bankman-Fried, say one more time, Sam Bankman-Fried doesn't like tiki torches and Jews will not replace us being chanted by his political party for some reason. I have no idea what reason, but election day, FTX implodes completely. Then we have, it just goes on and on and on and on. Jesus Christ. Every one of these people is on Hillary's kill list. You know what I'm talking about. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? Jesus fucking Christ. So let's move on to reality. So if BitBoy Crypto is correct, and the FTX was the cause of the Luna crash, this would mean stablecoin is innocent, as many have been saying all along. This would make the Luna Classic chain even more bullish. And the part of the reason for that is because Saflane Ali made a statement because there was some guy named Gabilian who's doing the IBC for the Terra Luna Classic, and he was talking to Do Kwon on Twitter, and you could see them having an exchange. And during that exchange, part of the conversation and the stuff that they were doing was this conversation that they were having. Didn't say that Do Kwon was the CEO, but this guy called him the CEO of Luna Classic. He was reaching out to Do Kwon to ask for help on re-bridging the IBC, because of course, you know, if Luna and Luna Classic speak to one another and they use the same fundamental mechanisms, then guess what? That means that because it's Cosmos, that all of the people who are making dApps for the new Luna chain could also make for the Luna Classic chain, and it's good for both chains, right? So during this whole process, we already talked about how BlackRock was involved and how all of this stuff was happening with the crash of Luna Classic and how the death spiral happened. What we didn't mention, which I keep telling you every time it matters, is that FTX is where people go to kill stuff. Like, this is like the murder capital of crypto. If you plan on doing some shady shit, where do you go? You go to FTX. And I keep telling you guys that, and you keep seeing it, by the way. When you see shorts and longs, when I tell you, hey, look, all these shorts and longs being liquidated, and we go to like the supply alert and stuff like that, it's always FTX, FTX, FTX. So, you know, this made perfect sense. So, yeah. Also, this is a little bit off topic. Oh, and before we do that, Nansen.ai is putting together a simple dashboard to track the addresses. This is for crypto.com. This way, they're going to create a dashboard so that you can track crypto.com at any and every time. And I've also reached out to my man Voltoshi and asked him, like, you know what would be cool? How cool would it be is if VoltiChange, our sponsor up there on the top left-hand side, what if Voltoshi and VoltiChange had a dashboard that did the same thing to give everybody some clarity about where the money is going on VoltiChange? And he liked the idea, so we'll see what happens with that. But you know, entering into this space, this is a seedy sort of space, but entering into this space with a new product that might be a game changer, as in a giant DeFi exchange, then this creates an opportunity for people to have a little more confidence in it. And if you just advertise that, how quickly do you think adoption would start happening? I think people would go crazy for something like that, just like Uniswap. Just, if it's a swap, it's an exchange with functionality, et cetera, et cetera. Guys, I think that's a big deal. I think it would be a big deal. And he knows how to make a dashboard. So you might be seeing something interesting coming to Volta Change that you didn't think you were going to see already. So, and finally, Milton from Terrarium came out with this. Says so much misinterpretation of roadmap. Where have we ever mentioned Terra Pay in the roadmap? And in fairness to what Milton is saying here, he did not. Terra Pay was never mentioned, and it was never a question of this. This is difficult because you're having a conversation that says this is not in our roadmap, but that's not really the issue. The issue is on March 28, Milton said any new products coming in will be part of the Terra ecosystem, $Terra. Like, it's really not that it's new or anything like that. This is a new thing being built into this ecosystem that is not part of what he said it would be. So I understand why he has the disconnect, because he doesn't want it to connect, but he's got to take ownership for what he said. So my reply was this: look, I'm never here to tell you what to do. You've earned your position. That said, I feel 100x more confident in your leadership on this project if you stop engaging people who are funding your project and attempt to prove points to them. Rise above, don't fall below. And I think that I hope that I hope that he takes this seriously, and I do hope that he read it. I do hope that he at least listens and understands. Like, you rise above, don't fall into I know there's a lot of influencers out there that are dogging him out because they know he's willing to fight back, and fighting back doesn't help anybody. It doesn't do good for me or anybody else who is an investor, and I'm a big investor. So chill out. And they did somebody took a survey that he said I was interested in it. Do they need a change of leadership or not? And over 55% said yes, there was a change of leadership needed. So I hope that means he's getting some of these messages. I don't think that there's a change of leadership, and I don't care about that because he's an investor. This is his baby. This is his project. But I think that something like that should be a wake-up call to him that, hey man, things are not right with the way you're doing it. You should at least reflect on that a little bit and maybe do it a little bit better. So that being said, now it's time for my favorite part and yours, because I'm always right, and that is technical analysis. And I'm sorry we're moving a little bit late today, but we're getting there. All right, guys, as you can see right here, this was so Saturday I put out a video, and in my video I said that we're probably gonna move to the upside. I'm gonna show you those because on Ethereum, that's what I did on Ethereum. I said that we would go up. Bitcoin, here's what I said on Bitcoin. I said we're gonna break out right here, and we did break out. And that the likely move was that we were going to go up a little bit and then just kind of consolidate, right? I said the same thing over here. I guess I did the opposite over here, but no, I said the same thing here, but I was using this line over here, and we did break out right here and then dumped immediately. We're just coming back into it right now. But what we're looking at is on Luna, it was very evident that this thing was just a quick spike. But you could see that from this down line, we were on this bear pennant and we were due for this move. And we literally did exactly what I said. And then this right here was that crypto.com thing that everybody was nervous about yesterday. Well, so I said that based on this move right here, this coming from the top right here, and this playing out like a pennant coming from the bottom and going up, that the most likely scenario to play out was right here and up about 20%, to 17.5. Well, what I should have been saying was this right here, this was coming from this direction, and this was just a continuation of this direction. And I should have looked at it like it really is. Like it was just, this was just a bear pennant a little bit longer that was playing out all the way down here, and probably right here, because those are not where it's settled. But so this bear planet was playing out right here, and that the likely move instead of here was down to here. And if that were the case, and if I were to flip this over, then it's about the same thing. Like that's where it would have ended up. Now, that being said, we recovered nicely and are still trending right around where we were at the same time over here. So we're not that far away from where we were before. So you could even argue that this was just an early, a little bit too early of a breakout, and that what we're really doing is still breaking to the downside. By the way, this doesn't make it look better, but this just says that whatever pattern is playing out, it's going to take a longer time for it to develop. But if you're playing it out that way, then it looks like there's more there's more downside, and there's more negativity that's coming, and anything that breaks out is getting rejected and tossed right back into this line, which turns this line right here into a resistance point that plays out right here, and right here so far. So this is probably going to be another one of those lines that we're going to have to overcome. And that's that probably means more downside. So we'll see how it plays out. But if you look at Ethereum, it's really kind of the same thing. Like what I said was coming up this way, that was probably that bullish sort of sentiment, that we would have a breakout based on that. But if you just kind of zoom out and say, well, this is probably more likely to be this coming from the downside, and then all of this was just this right here, well, then that's where it broke down and came out that way. So remove that. And then if we do the same thing that we just did, then you put it right here, and you see here that what we're probably doing is playing this out more than likely. And I was just rushing to try to create a pattern in my brain, because it's obvious this was right here, right here, right here, and right here. This is where we rejected. So it looks like this number, or these numbers, are accurate, and that we're going to have maybe right there. We're going to have a breakdown somewhere Wednesday or Tuesday, that we're going to break either to the upside or the downside, with the most likely scenario at this point, because of this pattern being the downside. And it plays out significantly over every single one of these tokens, by the way. So we're seeing this 5% pump. By the way, Crow is now up 7, and I got in, by the way, down here at 5.7 cents last night. So I am feeling super good this morning about Crow. And I do hope that Crow continues to pump. Now, you look at the Dow Jones, and we are actually, and I drew this because if you go back here and you look at the day chart on the Dow Jones, we've been in a channel for a year now. This is like, let's go back here and let's look at this. This kind of starts all the way back right here. So we got in this channel October of 2021. We've been on this downward trend for months and months and months and months. And now we're actually having 2 days where we've broken out. And if we have another day, even if it's a red day that goes down just a little bit or something like that, even if it rejects a little bit, as long as it doesn't go below this 33 line over the next couple days, then we will have confirmed that we've had a breakout to that upside, and that the move is not what Jerome Powell wants, but it certainly is a breakout to the positive side. So it's entirely possible that market conditions are starting to turn and become a little bit better overall for the crypto market now, and the Dow Jones. So I don't know what this means yet. Most probably what it means is that Jerome Powell is going to be motivated to continue to clamp down, because this is the opposite of what he wants to see. What he wants to see is, he wants to see your capitulation. He wants to see you say, no, 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 no. But here's the problem. The problem is the job numbers are too strong. Like nobody, like you have to take one of the things that he said, and hopefully he's going to recognize it, is you have to take the totality of what is going on in the market and not just the one piece that you want to tackle or address. So you have to take that inflation number, and yes, it matters because we don't want inflation. We don't want our prices up. We don't want any of that. But by the same token, people are still hiring, and these companies are still meeting their earnings reports, and they're blowing them away in many different instances, in far too many instances. So, this market is not entirely what they think it is. So, and now we're up on the Dow Jones for the day. So, it's really been a mixed bag, and we need to see how this thing plays out over the last hour. So we saw this big pump come just a little while ago down here, and we're creating this new line, by the way. Remember, we just created this one. So it came up here and rejected over the last couple hours, and now we're headed back down. So we might be heading back down for a little bit more test of 1200, or we're going to pop through and end up at 1300 in pretty short order with a little stop around 1270, 1280. So it's possible. I don't know whether it will or not, but that's kind of where all of this stuff is looking. So let's cut that out and let's get over here. And as you can see right here, Volt is still pumping up 100 and something % over the last 2 weeks, still continuing to pump. So at any moment now, voltage change is going to pop, and the rally for, at least for Volt, is going to be on. But I did add Lit up here because I am partnered with Lit. You're going to see content coming out today, the first of the content, and 192 diluted market cap and about $20,000 in trading volume. If you look at this right here, this is the first big breakout, and it broke out to, I think they said, a little bit over $1 million market cap. So is it possible that this thing breaks out to a 2.5 million market cap? Anyway, I put in $250 and we'll see where it goes. So if it does have a breakout, good. If not, we'll see. But one of the cool things about Lit is it uses true burn technology, and I'm a fan of the true burn technology, right? So it's putting stuff. Where is it? Right here. There's only 1 billion total tokens, and they're going into the dead wallet. There's 16% of them in the dead wallet already out of 1 billion tokens. So we're talking about 160 million tokens that are already out of the stream, leaving 800. Like, it's going fast. So they're creating a run on it, and that's going to create a price crunch. They've also formed a second token called Ash, which is the DAO for Lit. Now, some of you might not be fans of multiple tokens, but let's see how it plays out. So with the Ash DAO, you're able to vote on what happens with the Lit structure and the Ash structure. And you can choose whether to buy with the funding from DAO. You can choose whether to buy Lit tokens and burn them, or Ash tokens and burn them, and there's zero tax. So you're not paying any kind of tax just to do this. Now, that being said, let's move on. Kodachi token trading at 11.79. MMA is at 23.31. I put 500 in MMAI, and I'm still sitting at about like $560 right now at 23.32. So I'm still up, but it's not doing anything. Just waiting for that moment where the wallet seemed like a dud. I'm not sure what's going on there with some of the things that they're working on or developing and doing. So, I don't know. We'll see how it progresses, how it plays out. Hulk is about dead even with the day. Terrarium 56.12 continuing to struggle. It wasn't but a few days ago Terrarium was sitting at Terrarium not only added a zero, but they've gone halfway through to almost adding another zero. So that is a struggle. WAGMI down 2.4% to 3,000. Lillian at 19.12, still feeling the struggle of the market. Volt down 6.6% in the 24-hour, but 13.43 again, still up 100% on the previous for 2 weeks. Deconnect down 11.7% to 61.71, and yen 65.94. Haven't seen another move on that one. I think everybody's kind of waiting for the market conditions to sort of improve. I think we've gone into that little bit of hibernating mode. So now it's just a matter of twiddling thumbs and waiting to see what happens. And with that, we are going to move on to the chat. All right, guys. Important. The Crow CEO said that they have a full audit underway, which that was a couple days ago. They were doing a full audit to make sure that people knew what was going on. And, weird thing, the last time I heard about a full audit was FTX. And it seemed like Sam Bankman-Fried didn't understand what was going on with his company, or whether he did or didn't have money. We look at him more as a villain in this marketplace right now, but maybe he's just an idiot that looks like a nerd. And I'm not saying, by the way, I'm not saying that nerds are smart by default, but you know what I mean. Anyway. Yeah. Oh my God, Biden woke up this morning. Biden's sunrise. There it is, man. Yep, absolutely. I think all exchanges should be required to post a quarterly financial statement, just like the companies on stock market. I think Kraken has been doing that for a while. Ella said that is actually that's actually what I think is being proposed right now by Binance, that proof of reserves, so that you continue to show, and you do have to do that, I think, in the United States if you're doing business in the United States. So you probably see that on Binance.us. You probably see that on FTX US, which is why FTX US was just fine until they decided, no, it's not. And they just threw it in there. So, let's see. CZ just talked about a CEX bailout fund from Binance. Yeah, Tim, we covered that a little bit earlier. So the idea with that fund seems to be to help cryptocurrencies that are having a cash crunch, and it's going to be like seed investors long term. But to me, that's a conspiracy, because say what you want, but if I'm the villain, and if I say CZ is the villain here, right? He's doing exactly what a villain would be doing. He's now helping everybody who needs it. Wink, wink, wink. He's now like it just seems to me like he's gonna look at some point. It feels to me, and I'm not saying he's ever gonna happen, but it feels to me like we're gonna find out that CZ actually has a lair inside a volcano, and he's got a tiny midget CZ right next to him that he calls Mini-Me, and that he's going to create a laser created by the noted physicist Dr. Alan Parsons, and he's going to call it the Alan Parsons Project. Shh. I just get this feeling with CZ that there's more than meets the eye, and I don't think that, look, I don't think that anybody becomes a billionaire by being good. So when it's all said and done, I think he's taking advantage of the market, and I think he's manipulating a lot. I think he's manipulating a lot more than what we know or we see. And I don't know if that's good or bad, to be fair. Like it would be natural for me to say that he is the villain, but it could be that he's just a nice guy who just happened to be in a great position. But I doubt that. I really doubt that. Check out. All right, if you want me to check out a token, if you want tokens checked out, that is super chat stuff. What is going on, Briarwood? What is happening, man? Just living this life. You know what I mean? My third year in crypto, on worst I've seen so far. I know yesterday evening my brain felt like pudding after all the breaking news and Scooby-Doo, who's under the SBF. Look, that man. Where is this crazy? Look, this is here is Sam Bankman-Fried's. This is what she said. This is the wait. This is the CEO of Alameda. Okay, this is the CEO, and this is what she said. Holy shit, guys, mother. Okay, all I'm saying is all I'm saying. That is out of control, man. You better believe it. Stop it. Stop it, Del Crypto. Stop it. I've only been in crypto for about 2 weeks. Was it a good time to get in? Actually, you know what? If you're getting into crypto right now, this is probably the best time. And all you have to do is just buy your favorite 30 different cryptos and just hold on to them. Make sure that most of them are, I would buy a third Bitcoin, a third Ethereum, and then the other third, whatever. And I would do something like altcoins in the top 100 for the moment. Wait for that moon and that big move, and just let it blow up. And then just a little percent, just like 5%, whatever, 10% of what you got, and just put that into like these small cap crazy things that might just take off, because you never know when it's going to take off. Why CZ Binance think it's okay to attack crypto exchanges? Because he doesn't care. That's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like he's the villain in all it. Like, look, he's going to rip the mask off, and he's been Jason from Friday the 13th this whole time. Like, for some reason, I just get this feeling. CZ is how Bill Gates was to asset. There it is right there, man. CZ Binance is Bill Gates. They just crush everything with a monopoly. And it seems like he wants a monopoly. So, yeah. The vid of Ellison had no audio. Oh, okay. Well, I'm sorry that it doesn't have any audio. I don't know why. It might be because of the camera that I'm using right now. Maybe there's some kind of, I'll have to check the settings and I'll have to figure out how to make it work. But for some reason, it goes into mute instead of running the audio through. It used to run the audio through, but I changed. And I'm now using, by the way, a Google Pixel Pro 7. So I just got to figure out how to make it work. But I think we can all agree that Ellison doesn't know shit, and that bitch is crazy. And also, damn, you know what I'm saying? Like, damn, like, ugh. This is what I said. That was my medical opinion. I was having fun. I was having fun last night. I am once again asking you to deposit your life savings into FTX. Let me see if there was another one. I feel like there were a couple more that I made because, I'm hilarious. I guess not. I guess I wasn't that funny. Everything sucks. Oh, well. Anyway. All right. So, what are your thoughts on a possible hack on a major cold storage wallet company like Ledger? So, the purpose of cold storage is so that it's not on any sort of chain. That being said, I don't think a hack on Ledger would have any effect. You can't really hack a cold storage because, um, I mean, basically, a cold storage wallet is basically a gap computer for you. And any gap computer, in a few minutes, any gap computer, air gap, would not be connected to a network, so you wouldn't have anything to worry about. So I don't think a hack on Ledger is going to matter at all. So they can hack Ledger, the company, but that doesn't mean that they're getting into your wallet. The only way they get into your wallet is if you give them the tools in order to get there. Leave Sheldon alone. Yeah, she's crazy. What happened to GOAT? Okay, so I was in GOAT for a minute, and so it was my understanding that Smiley and Chris and a whole bunch of these people, this was like their first real run in crypto. And it is my understanding that they, I mean, look, I'm not going to say anything bad, but if I say, and we're talking about Chris right now, if I say, what's your tooth count? And you come in under 26, okay, something wrong, right? I don't know why something's wrong, but something's wrong. And I'm not sure his tooth count ever came over 12. You know what I'm saying? So something wrong. Now, that's not the person that I want in front of a CEO of a major corporation like GOAT. So I feel like something was, I feel like they felt like they were going to do something big. And in the market, when everything was pumping, it's easy to mask stuff like that. But the market started getting bad, and it started going from bad to worse as the bear market just kind of started to wear down people. So I think that GOAT token was just a product of that. And then, when these guys weren't generating enough, I assume they had like a dev wallet or something like that, and they weren't generating enough money to pay themselves. Then they were just like, oh, well, and became a little more self-destructive. And they put all of their eggs into the basket of partnering with GOAT token and said, look, if you're a developer and you're making a token right now and you're thinking about launching a token, let me tell you, there are three things that are very important, right? One of them is use case. The second one is exchanges. And the third one is also more exchanges. That's what matters. Because if you have a tax structure of any sort, even if it's 1 or 2% going into the dev/marketing wallet or something like that, then you need a lot of money in order to continue to make whatever it is that you're trying to make, right? And in order to continue to fund. So, or you have to have a stack of tokens that you're willing to sell on the open market in order to fund what it is, or you're just rich, right? So some way or another, you got to come up with cash on hand. And so that marketing wallet becomes very important. So, you need new exchanges, not promises. You need new exchanges. So if you're on a token and their primary goal is some random shit and it's not exchanges, you got a problem. If it has any kind of tax structure, that is, or if it has no taxes, like there should be exchange. If you want more trading volume, okay, that's how this works. One of the things that, like Volt has a high tax count at 13% in and out, so you're paying 26% tax in and out on Volt. That's a long-term hold. That's not a short-term hold, because you put $1,000 in and you're only getting 870 in tokens, right? Whatever that value is. So when that value in tokens goes up to, say, 2,000 and it comes back out, then you're paying 13% or another 260. So when you pull out 2,000, you're actually only pulling out 1,740. So you might double your money, but you are paying that tax too. So it's important to remember. That's why it's such a long-term hold. Don't cheat out early, or don't look to make a quick flip on something like a Volt, right? So, but the other thing is, a percentage of that goes to marketing, and a percentage of that goes to development, and buybacks and burns, liquidity, et cetera, et cetera. And if you go look at the taxes on 13%, the volume on Volt was $4.3 million yesterday on all of the exchanges. Now, when you, like, if you were looking at Uniswap, and if you're looking at just Uniswap, then the volume on Uniswap yesterday for Volt was $272,000. Decent. That's decent volume compared to a lot of other tokens. I'm not saying it's not decent volume, but when you come over here and you look at CoinMarketCap, or you come over here and you look at CoinGecko, then what you're looking at is, like, what is the volume for the day? And you look at Volt, volume for the day, 24-hour trading volume is $4 million. Like, they did 10 times as much circulating volume as what we were talking about. So this is, I mean, work shit out right. You know what I mean? Like, just work shit out right. Thank you for the $18 bomb. Good morning, Blaze. Can you check out the Fokker token out, please? Docs dev safe contract, liquidity lock just launched. Awesome potential. All right, we can do that. All right. So, Fokker right here, 61.47. It's only up 3.5% in the last 24 hours. Small volume, but it has a 60K market cap. This is another one of those micro caps. So if you throw $100-$200 at it, then it might make a move for you, and be pretty decent until it develops investors. The number of holders, 154. So there's the potential for it to have a play. Then we come over here and we look, and it's got a nice design. So it's FIFA Soccer World Cup Qatar, a token to unite cryptocurrency by the 99%. I mean, it's got a nice, the website is nice. Let's see what Token Sniffer says about it. All right, and our smell test gives us 55 of 100 because of the taxes, which are 6 in, 9.4 out. Creator Wallet has 6.11, has a little over 6% of the supply, and 91% of the liquidity is locked until January 1 of 2023. So not exactly perfect, but certainly not bad. Adequate liquidity, yes. I would be concerned with the developer, whether they're going to sell, because if they sell, then that's going to wreck the chart. So, be very careful when you're on this. But by the same token, there's an opportunity. I don't see much. There's no white paper or anything. So there's a contract, a chart, and a buy. So I'm not sure that this is something that's going to last. I think they're just using, it looks to me like they're just using FIFA as something to draw people in. It doesn't seem like it's going to do anything. We'll help people out instead of giving to charities. Someone who is terminally ill and needs a break, or maybe someone having a rough time paying medical bills. Publicly, we will help someone every few days. That's not a reason to invest in a token. They need to have something that generates revenue. Otherwise, this is just a complete degen play. And if it's a complete degen play, just be very careful. Make sure that if you put your money in, get your initial investment out as quickly as you possibly can, and then you play on house money, and that would be the best way to do it. But it is now my time. So this is not financial advice. My name is Bleaves. I am always right. We will talk to you guys again soon for Bedtime with Bleaves tonight. Have a good day, and we'll talk to you again very soon.